Today's video is how to overcome boredom in recovery. So raise your hands if you get bored without marijuana. I'm gonna leave my hand up too, because for me, even though I'm sober and I've been off the substance for a while, I still go through phases of boredom. And it's one of the toughest emotions for me as well, because it just ain't fun. So somebody reached out, I think it was the Goku Dragon Ball Z guy, Joe Cal, what's up, brother? And he asked to talk about boredom in recovery. And I think that was a great topic idea, because that holds a lot of people back from, I think, even the first initial step in getting off marijuana to begin with, because that boredom just gets so intense, and the only relief that one could possibly think of in the moment is weed. And I think there lies the secret in that sentence. Comment down below if you understood what that was. And that is that need for relief. So a big part of getting sober and getting off marijuana is going to be learning how to not need relief at all times. And I'm talking to myself here too, because again, this is a tough one. In those moments where I don't feel relief, or I feel that anxiety, or boredom, which is that kind of nothing feeling, that's really when I start to panic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm wasting my life. Like, dude, there's so much out there. And that for me almost perpetuates the cycle, because it's not so much of the situation in itself that's negative or bad. I mean, I'm alive, I'm in a safe place, or maybe I'm eating food or whatever, who knows what it could be. But really, it's that fear of what I'm missing out on. And so there lies the second secret. So the first secret is the inability to not have relief, I guess. There's probably a better way to say that. And then the second is understanding that the root of boredom is actually fear. So this blew my mind when I figured this out, because I thought those were two completely different things. I was like, boredom and fear were just in a completely different realm. And really, that boredom, next time you feel it, maybe you're feeling it right now watching this video, really analyze it a bit, dive into it, and you'll feel underneath all that, the story or whatever, is fear. Again, usually for me, it's fear of, not being where I want to be. It's fear that this feeling will never go away. It's fear that I'll never get to do the things I want to do, or that I set out to do. And that only kind of perpetuates the cycle. So on this channel, we talk about solutions. So you might be like, all right, man, that's super depressing. What do I do about it? Well, the first thing is with the relief, right? So, the unpleasant answer is to experience it over and over again over the course of days, weeks, months, and years, until it's no longer as painful. And that's what you're going to have to do essentially, as you in order to stay off weed for long term, potentially the rest of your life maybe. In a practical sense, there are some things, and I think they are kind of obvious when we think about them, is like go out and do something that you enjoy. Maybe you won't experience complete elation and bliss, especially if you're in those beginning stages. However, you might feel enough to, just kind of forget about the boredom a little bit. So for me, I like to come out to nature. That's really healing and peaceful. I'm in a bit of a dopamine depletion because I got sick this week and I watched a lot of TV. So I completely understand what it's like to be out somewhere where, it's a fun place for yourself, and I'm just not feeling super like elated or anything like that. I kind of feel like just kind of like this right now. And hey, that's okay. Gotta sit with it, right? The second thing is to do some recovery work around it. So if you're in support groups, do the work that's involved in those programs, and really, or if you're working with me at coaching, do the homework assignments that we talk about, and really understanding that, okay, like maybe this isn't the time where I'm going to actually get to feel all that wow energy, you could say, but I'm going to do what I can to, propel myself along the journey anyway. So that's a really important kind of thing to do. Like, use it as a tool to get better, in a sense. You see it on YouTube, right? You got to be getting better every day. Exercise, as I've talked about before, it might sound like a broken record, but it really is a game changer, especially when it comes to boredom, because if you can get out and you can get to the gym or go for a run, you're going to get a natural endorphin release, and that kind of the runner's high. So that'll automatically combat the boredom to a degree, right? And then really, again, it's just coming back to coming full circle here is to really sit with it and learn how to be with boredom. So the next, a solution, I guess, would be to look at the fear, right? Because we talked about how fear is the root of boredom. So really whip out that journal and ask yourself, what am I afraid of right now? What is the fear telling me? What is the story around it? Where did this fear come from? Maybe it came from something from childhood, from some old programming. This isn't kind of a one and done thing, unfortunately. This will probably take a lot of time, but the more you can get curious about it and the more you can dive deeper into yourself, the more relief you're gonna find from that boredom. And over me, when I was a kid, I had a lot of boredom because I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of trauma, and I never really felt like I was in a safe place. And so I always sought to relieve that boredom through like buying toys and stuff. And I wasn't like super loaded as a kid, so I had to actually save up and stuff for it. But I just remember it being agonizing. So a lot of the boredom I started to feel as an adult when I quit marijuana was just remembering those times as a kid where I just felt completely helpless to change my circumstance or situation. Even I would turn on the TV and feel nothing because all the we had like public television, so cartoons were only on the weekdays at a certain time. So even sitting with it now is just like painful to think about. And I asked life, life helped me work through this, help me find peace around that, help me love that part of myself that I abandoned in a way and said, I don't want you a part of my life because you reminded me of that painful experience and that painful time. However, in coming full circle, I need to address that part and love it and bring it into myself. In doing so, there's the relief and there's the integration that I've kind of always been looking for. I'm just starting to be able to figure out how to do that now, and it's very, very powerful. And I kind of am no longer at the whim of what's going on, in a sense, to feel a certain way, because I actually, for the first time in my life, feel connected to all these different parts of myself. So beautiful, and that can be for you as well, as long as you're willing to do the work. So comment below what your experience with boredom is, if you can relate to this video, and if you're ready to learn how to overcome boredom with kind of some of the stuff I talked about today, reach out to me for some one-on-one recovery coaching. I'd be happy to sit down with you and can start to maybe find some ways and strategies that you can use to combat that boredom, and while at the same time learning how to be more at one with it, having it not be so terrifying and debilitating, because I know exactly what that's like. And so with that, guys, we'll talk to you in the next one, and peace out.